bit. At the moment, one of the stocks that's showing a lot of weakness is Yes Bank. That stock is now down 3.3. In early morning trades, it was down about 5%. We're joined once again by Mr. Rana Kapoor, Managing Director and CEO of Yes Bank. Mr. Kapoor, really, after yesterday's pullback of your QIP, what are the plans now? I mean, how quickly do you think you will launch it? And have you done some dissection? Really, was it the pricing that you all got wrong?
No, Lata, good morning. After we spoke yesterday, I can only share with you that there was a misinterpretation on the period for which the QIP had to be kept open, and therefore there was some uncertainty, as a consequence of which there was unusual volatility in the stock. And this is what I reported to you yesterday. We have taken stock of the situation with our bankers, naturally with the Capital Markets Committee of the bank, and it is our fullest intention to have a QIP of $1 billion sooner than later. Naturally, we'll reconvene at some point over the next few days. I would also like to add that we have all the requisite approvals, statutory as well as board and shareholders, to have this QIP, and it's valid for at least till June next year.
Mr. Kapoor, good morning. You know, with all due respect, Yes Bank actually is a complete reverse of volatility. That stock has had just one-way surge from 700 to 1400. Could this have been the case of, promoters, in a bull market, increasing their expectation of pricing at which the QIP could go through? Could it be the simple case of, bull market greed?
No, it's a very valid point. If you see the price range which we had proposed in the course of the transaction, it was well within guidelines. With the SEBI average price for the last 2 weeks. So it isn't that we were way out. I think the second point is that there was a fair amount of demand. And literally the book was quite comprehensively filled up in the morning. And we had to defer because of the outright and exceptional volatility that, kept into the stock. And naturally, we want investors to see the upside and not only a downside.
So, Mr. Kapoor, can you give us any kind of indication on when you plan to come next into the market in terms of a timeline?
All I can say is sooner than later. It is indeed our fullest intent to go ahead with this QIP, and we will, mobilize all our efforts. We are in a fairly good condition to go ahead with this QIP. We had done 2 successful QIPs in the past, and we have to make sure that investors continue to get returns. You may recall our QIP in 2010 was at 269.50, and investors have got returns of over 5 times. Our second one, which was $500 million in May of 2014, on that, even now, despite the setback on the stock last couple of days, investors have got more than 125% returns. So there is a very good roster of investors. There's a very good register of existing shareholders the bank has, and it is indeed our intent as management to proceed with this QIP sooner than later.
That point is not debated because, and truth be told, your IPO was at 45 rupees. So it's clearly, the stock has been a wealth generator. But, the one more issue here is, you had the best of the bankers. You yourself are a banker, and you had the best of the legal, pass with you. It somehow does not fathom, that, it's not fathomable that, the issue had to be pulled out because of these, interpretation reasons.
Yeah, actually, to add to what Anuj is saying, today the Motherson Sumi issue has gone through, and they have not had problems of misinterpretation. So, you've got the best legal brains, as Anuj has been saying. Is this that instead of looking at the last 2-week average price, you should have looked at the 6-month average price? Then probably, the stock was overpriced, and that's why you had to, the shorting in the market came in. Would you reconsider the price, is the point?
Lata, at the right time when we gear up to proceed with the issue, naturally we will look at the pricing conditions prevailing at that particular point of time. And all I can tell you is the bank is fully prepared to proceed with this QIP at the right time. We also want to make sure shareholders existing and future, do get a satisfactory return and outcome as a consequence of this new issue, because there will be anywhere between 10 to 11% dilution as a consequence of this issue in course of time. So I think whatever happened yesterday was a learning lesson, and we have imbibed that and we have shared that naturally with our investors, and we will revert back to you with a QIP sooner than later.
Okay, Mr. Kapoor, thanks a lot, and thanks a lot for being candid and saying that yes, it has been a learning lesson, and truth be told, you have generated wealth for shareholders. IPO was at 45 rupees. Your last two QIPs have done well. Maybe this was a case of maybe slightly higher pricing. But thanks a lot, Mr. Kapoor. Ajay Srivastav is also with us from Dimension Consult.